The ancient communications array at the edge of the Proxima Nebula crackled to life, its quantum transmitters broadcasting across 17 sectors simultaneously. Every species, every fleet, every military command center in the galaxy received the same chilling message. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Terran Confederation Navy. By order of the Galactic Arbitration Council, we are entering the Kepler Warzone to enforce the ceasefire. All combatants will stand down immediately. The effect was instantaneous. Admiral Kilara of the Andorian Empire felt her three hearts skip in unison as she stared at the tactical display aboard her flagship. The massive Andorian fleet, moments ago pressing their advantage against the Zephyrian coalition, suddenly seemed insignificant. Her communications officer, a young warrior who had never known defeat, looked up with fear in his compound eyes. "Admiral, long-range sensors detect a single vessel approaching from Sol system coordinates," he reported, his voice barely above a whisper. "Energy signature. It's impossible. The readings are off the scale." Across the battlefield, Coalition Fleet Commander Zephyra was experiencing the same revelation. Her organic bioships, bred for warfare over centuries, were suddenly transmitting chemical signals of alarm primal fear responses encoded in their very DNA. The ancient genetic memory of her people screamed warnings about the approaching threat. "How large is the human vessel?" she asked her tactical coordinator, dreading the answer. "Commander, it's not large. Approximately 2 kilometers in length. But the energy output..." The coordinator paused, triple-checking the readings. "It's equivalent to a small star." The humans had been absent from galactic politics for nearly 3 decades. After the Centauri incident, where a single human destroyer had accidentally obliterated an entire hegemony battle group, while trying to perform a rescue operation, the Terran Confederation had withdrawn to their home system. The Galaxy Council had been secretly relieved. Humanity's technology was simply too advanced, too unpredictable, too dangerous for conventional warfare. But now they were back. The UTS Prometheus dropped out of hyperspace at the exact geometric center of the battlefield, its arrival creating gravitational ripples that every ship within a light minute could feel in their hulls. The vessel was sleek, almost organic in appearance, its dark hull seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. Weapon ports along its frame glowed with contained energy that made nearby space itself shimmer. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge, her calm demeanor masking the weight of responsibility she carried. At 35, she was young for a ship commander, but the Prometheus was no ordinary vessel. It was humanity's first and only Singularity-class warship, built with technologies that pushed the boundaries of known physics. "Captain," reported Lieutenant Commander Jackson from the sensor station, "both fleets have stopped firing. They're holding position, but maintaining combat readiness." Elena nodded. She had expected this. The galaxy's species had long memories, and they remembered what human technology could do when pushed. The problem was, they also remembered human restraint, which made them unpredictable in a way that terrified military strategists across 17 sectors. "Open a channel to both fleet commanders," she ordered. The main view screen split, showing Admiral Kilara on one side and Commander Zephyra on the other. Both alien leaders looked composed, but Elena could see the tension in their postures, the way their hands hovered near emergency controls. "Admiral, Commander," Elena began, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had never needed to raise it to be obeyed. "The Galactic Council has received reports of civilian casualties in this conflict. You have 60 seconds to explain why I shouldn't enforce an immediate withdrawal of both fleets." Admiral Kilara was the first to respond, her pride overriding her caution. "Captain Vasquez, with respect to human technological superiority, this is a matter of territorial sovereignty. The coalition has violated The coalition was defending refugee transports that your empire was targeting, Commander Zephyra interrupted, her bioship pulsing with agitation. We had every right to. Enough? Elena's single word cut through both arguments like a blade. She gestured to her tactical officer, who began uploading data to both fleets. My sensors indicate 17 civilian vessels were destroyed in this engagement. 400,000 non-combatants are dead. The bridge of the Prometheus fell silent. Even though they had known the numbers, hearing them spoken aloud hit differently. Elena had served in the cleanup operations after the Centauri incident. She had seen what human weapons could do to living beings, and she had sworn never to be responsible for such destruction again. Both of you will withdraw to your respective borders immediately, she continued. Any vessel that fires another shot will be considered a threat to galactic peace. Admiral Kylara's military training warred with her survival instincts. And if we refuse? Elena's expression didn't change, but every sensor operator in both fleets suddenly detected a massive energy spike from the Prometheus. The ship's dark hull began to emit a soft blue-white glow as its singularity drive came online. Space around the vessel started to visibly distort, creating ripples that spread outward like waves on water. Admiral, I really hope you don't make that choice, Elena said quietly. The demonstration was brief, perhaps 5 seconds, but in that time, both fleets' computers calculated that the Prometheus had generated enough contained energy to sterilize every planet in the system. The fact that humanity had built such a weapon was terrifying. The fact that they had chosen not to use it was somehow even more frightening. Commander Zephyra was the first to break. Her bioships, evolved from prey species, were broadcasting pure terror through their chemical signals. Coalition forces will withdraw to the Altair system immediately. Admiral Kylara held out for 30 more seconds, her warrior's pride battling against cold logic. Finally, she gave the order. Andorian forces will return to Imperial space. As both fleets began their retreat, Elena allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy's species often forgot that humanity had developed their incredible technology, not for conquest, but for survival. They had been the weakest species when they first reached the stars, forced to innovate or perish. That desperation had driven them to achievements that more established civilizations had never needed to attempt. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, both fleets have entered hyperspace. The battlefield is clear. Elena nodded and turned to her communications officer. Send a message to Terra Command. Mission accomplished. Returning to Sol patrol routes. As the Prometheus prepared to depart, its sensors picked up the scattered debris of the civilian vessels, 17 ships carrying families, artists, merchants, and dreamers who would never see another sunrise. Elena stared at the wreckage for a long moment before giving the order to jump. The galaxy had frozen, not just from fear of human weapons, but from the realization that humanity wielded that power with the restraint of beings who understood its true cost. In a universe full of species that had forgotten the value of individual life, the humans remembered. And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying thing of all.